Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare, joined today by Sean Newsom, PSU2, to spend other people's money, Sean. That's what it's all about today.
That's always a good time. Spending money and spending more money is always pretty solid.
I'm excited. We have a budget that we're going to try to stick to today. I'm going to be excited to hear your reason for why we should go above this budget, even though it's not our money.
I think you have enough with this budget. You probably are fine.
I think that's exactly what the conversation will be like. If you're going to spend this, you may as well but that's part of the excitement of Sorare. You think you're going to spend a certain amount of money, and then all of a sudden that number just goes up. Thanks everyone for coming in. Malky was first in. Major NFT and Anyan. Malky said, which clever dick is going to make a joke about losing 5K on Sorare? I'll get into that. Anyan said, thankfully, a nice distraction from the headache of figuring out what my best Champions League lineup would looks like. Congrats on having Champions League cards. Bob Franklin, what's up? Sorare, so Spursy, which I definitely was going to read differently until I saw it. I can confirm it is not advisable to waste it on first owner wrapped packs to try and boost your Spurs collection. I'm guessing Sean is going to agree with that. ECS, what's up? Toby, Sorare, Juju, Jakob, Mike Baston, Stefan, MDG, Shaforkel, Nepenthes, who actually had a response to the question already. Halogen said, I'm waiting my invite on tomorrow's show to talk about how to not spend 5K on Sorare. Oh, okay. Ryan Walter, can we start with where do I get 5K? No. Red or Dead 69, what's up? Agent Cooper, I think I found something worse than DNPs on Sorare. It's having players from your gallery, but not in SO5 lineups smashing hundreds. Keeps happening to me recently. Has anyone else got this problem? Sean, did you play Maxim de Kuiper this week?
I don't own one.
Oh. So no is the answer. Anyway, Raul, that seems like a fairly popular card that you don't have.
Yeah, I feel like, I definitely have tried in the past to get it, but yeah, no, I don't own one.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Pablo, what's up? Lorenzo, Scosmo says buy super rares, which we all know is just a joke. Pepteta and Sorare Burrow. So the origin of this topic, which is not one that we came up with, actually somebody claimed to say that we did talk about this before. And we were like, oh, you should just do this. But anyway, it was this tweet from Stuart C_DX. What's the best way to spend up to £5,000 to get started playing Sorare? Which everybody knows up to just means obviously more than that. Zora, a Sorare champion back in the day and now employee, says to purchase in-season rare cards from 2 clubs you follow and build 2 competitive teams in SO5. It's a plus if they play European comps. Stuart agreed. And then Pranksy said pretty much this. So Sean, how do you feel about targeting rare cards with your £5,000?
Yeah, I think that's probably the way that I would go. I think that I would target a individual league, which one is up for debate, and I would see where I go. And then from there, I would maybe branch out into another individual league. But I think you typically want to be playing in season that can then transfer into classic cards eventually. And then you'll have the following season, instead of 3 lineups, you could realistically have 6 if you're willing to invest the returns of what you win this year, or if you would like to just invest more money, which, hey, we know investing more money is always the move. But I think I would definitely do it from a in-season perspective. We've sort of talked about that a little bit recently. I think that in-season makes the most sense, and I think rare level makes the most sense for someone wanting to come in to spend 5K. I think limited is probably too low for them. But if they want to go into limited, they could as well.
Yeah, I think we were briefly talking about this just before we went live, and I hate to put it this way because it definitely sounds like offensive, but I feel like if you're somebody who is thinking about putting £5,000 into Sorare, which is not nothing.
Just coming in to drop 5K.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't think that the stakes at the limited level are high enough, even though the actual first place prizes are not drastically different from rare, but they are lower. And I think what you said before we came on, you were like, the drop off is so big that, meaning from first to anywhere else, that it'll almost, I feel like you very quickly, if you went into limited, would very quickly be like, man, I would like to play for higher stakes than this.
Yeah, I just think it's probably not what that person would want to do. If it is, obviously you can go in and buy limiteds. Also, limited cards just dump off so hard after the first year. They definitely send you to a level you just are not interested in. Whereas like rare cards, like classic rare, you end up winning the classic rare competition the following year. Like you're looking at $2 to $3 grand, whereas limited, you're just not looking at that amount because the limiteds are obviously way lower price points.
I think one of the things I was considering when thinking about just the limited versus rare is you end up with, like, you can buy so many more limited cards, obviously, with 5,000 pounds. And then when they all become classic, you're overloaded with classic cards. And in rare, it doesn't feel like you would get overloaded as quickly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with that. Like I think that you'll have more use for them, I feel, and you'll feel better about having them at the rare level than at the limited level, is what it seems like to me.
That's how it feels. But like, I mean, everyone's kind of, it's your own risk appetite and reward chasing that you want to do. I was going to say something else and it just popped out or left my head. Anyway, some people in the chat, Pablo was saying, do you remember when you saw I sold my contender gallery and you regretted it? I didn't regret you selling your gallery, but said my plan worked out well. At least look at who's winning first division in-season Bundesliga, which I'm assuming is Pablo.
That would make sense.
It would be weird if it wasn't, because like, why would you talk about it? But yeah, 498 points from Pablo. What is that pay? I don't play Bundesliga in season.
Rare,
limited,
probably $2 grand.
That seems way too high for limited.
I don't know, maybe 1,500.
Pablo, can you help us out here?
They give a lot for first.
They do.
1,300.
1,300. So okay.
Second guess was close.
Yeah, it was close. For those of you who are wondering, Sean is not hungover. Sean is recovering from a brutal illness.
Yes. Also, I did get destroyed in college football this weekend. So Sorare was also not incorrect on that one either, but I'm just exhausted. I just have not slept well for like 2 weeks.
And still plowing the Sorare data content in.
Right.
Appreciated, Sean.
Right. I need a raise, Laird.
From zero?
Yes.
We'll look into it. Anyway, so if we go with the rare route, like I feel like the answer was right, and so it's really difficult for us to specifically say like this is what I already forgot what their name was. Apologies.
Stewart.
What was it?
Stewart.
So I don't like. I think Zora's advice is right in the sense of like find some teams that you like or that you know about. Like having knowledge of those leagues or teams is very beneficial. I don't know who Stewart likes. So it's like, I don't want to be like, if Stewart's there, Stewart's a big, Getafe fan. And we're like, oh, go buy some Tottenham's cards. Like, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But at least we can run through the exercise of if, what competitions you can enter and whatnot. But is there any, and I kind of brought this up when we had Nep on last week, but like presented with this question, would you really ever tell someone to play Classic?
I would start with in season. If someone's coming in and they want to start somewhere and they're not going to buy everywhere, not fill everywhere out, I would start with in season because then those cards will eventually turn into classic cards. I think that's a lot better of a plan than going in buying classic cards that are already classic.
Right. Yeah.
I think I would recommend starting with in season and go that way.
Yeah, I just feel like the competition is harder for worse prizes.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Halligan said U23. I wouldn't do U23. The upkeep of U23 is really difficult. I think that's asking a lot out of someone. To
new to the game, no less.
Yeah, someone new to the game to upkeep U23. I think it's a lot more challenging than just like pick one of the big leagues and focus on that league and work from there.
And where do legends fall on the list?
Legends fall exactly where they should have been to begin with, and that is nowhere on the Should have never existed.
And coach cards, of course. What do you mean? There's a Legends competition coming up, Sean.
Yeah. I took advantage of Legends better than anyone once they did it because I obviously paid attention and noticed what the value was. But I never changed my point that those were the dumbest things ever introduced to Sorare. To this day, nothing is as stupid as Legends were.
The fact that you could win like current season star cards.
No, that they should have just never existed. Do you remember when there was discussion about them just putting them into normal?
Putting them in, yeah, just regular
Which
cards.
was like the most asinine thing I've ever heard. Thank God they never did that. No, you had to give away. Once you did it, and then you said we're going to give value to these, and they're going to be playable. You had to give in season. You had to give cards. You had to give cards of value to Legends. You couldn't just give Legends. That would make no sense.
Well, they did do that.
They did, and it was asinine. It
Yeah.
was maybe more asinine than the Legends to begin with. But then they started giving out cards, and people bitch because they're giving out cards. Like, you got to give out cards. You said you were going to give these guys value. You can't just you give them away. Like, you had to give value or money. Like, you had to do something like that. But the Major NFP said, I feel like it was false advertising. I don't think it was false advertising. I think they thought Legends were a good idea and then just had no idea what to do with them because they literally didn't think anything about it. Like, they're like, oh my God, we get to have Zidane and Ronaldo. Remember those videos they did at the beginning? That they did like 3 of them. They're like, we're going to have one of these a week. And then everyone's like, this is so stupid. And then they stopped.
I feel like not everybody thought they were stupid. I thought people thought they were very cool for a bit. And like those introductory, like the couple videos they did with the interviews, people were excited about them, but then they stopped after like 4 and they were like, we're going to do 50. And at 4, they were like, oh shit, we shouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah. Cause I think they just realized there was nowhere to go with them from a gameplay.
Right.
Yeah. Deanne said they launched them without a gameplay idea. They had ideas. The ideas were just absolutely idiotic. And everyone's like, those are so stupid. And they're like, oh, we can't do that, can we?
I mean, in their defense, they changed, like they adjusted.
Yeah, they did. They typically are good at adjusting on so things that are so bad that they're like indefensible. They typically do adjust to those ones. We're like, no, that just doesn't work. And that was one of the things.
I agree with Scosmo here. He said they also used to think the platform would be collectibles, which they thought gave these legend cards validity beyond SO5. And
I mean, I thought that was stupid too. So
you've always thought that though. Yeah.
I've always said it was a game, Laird. A game that you win money and prizes, not I'm here to collect the 1 out of 100 whoever.
Mm-hmm. I remember Maxime got into a bidding war for the Zidane jersey mint with YNWA, I think, and didn't win that one. I
bought what I had to buy from a Legend perspective, paid it off in 1 week, and then just wrote but I told you, and you remember this conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm buying these. They're going to go to 0 eventually because they're going to get rid of this shit. But I can literally recoup it so quickly that it doesn't matter. And I did.
You did.
I taken it to 0 within probably about 3 to 4 months. Because I think they like introduced the gameplay that made them valuable like February. And then like you got towards the summer and they're like, we're just not doing that anymore.
So let's get back to spending Stuart's money here. £5,000 pounds. So a little easier for us dollar people that we get a little more of a budget. Would you think that most people in this situation are single league or people who would be interested in single league competitions versus like champion? Like, I don't think there's no way I think you could pitch someone new on like contender and probably not challenger.
Yeah, that's more difficult. You maybe could, but like I wouldn't do it anyways. Like you just like there's such a like tight window on those that it's like you like, oh, you're doing challenger, buy PSV. Oh, you didn't buy PSV, buy PSV.
It was MLS this week. MLS won.
Buy Buscaglia. Go buy Buscaglia. Like, oh, you didn't buy Buscaglia, go buy Buscaglia. Like that's just how it is like right now. I think that it's just the most logical path. it's the most easy to like maintain for someone like that, I think. And then it's like eventually you're gonna have to play champ anyways, because like you're gonna have guys like, say you do the Bundesliga, you're gonna get guys that transfer to like France or Germ or like Spain or England, like move to these other leagues that then like I can only use these in champ. I kind of need to like go there. Like I think the idea like is sort of this is how it goes, right? You start in season, then you branch to classic of that league, then you branch to classic of champ, then eventually you're doing classic champ, classic that league, in season that league. Then you all of a sudden, all right, maybe you branch to classic or in season of La Liga or the other one. Then like you sort of like go that way and you branch out till you're all of a sudden, I'm in Prem, I'm in Bundesliga, I'm in La Liga, I'm in Champ, I'm in all of them classic. There's a lot of branches to go from the start in that.
And it takes a while to like get that far. Like I think a lot of people,
without piling money in it would take
right,
a while to branch fully.
Yep. Yeah, I think, and pretty much I think the decision on how to branch out ultimately comes to just what you were saying. If there are any transfers or anything like, I have 3 cards that went from the Prem to the Bundesliga now. Correct. I'll just buy, you can just move into the Bundesliga.
Yeah, like, I mean, pretend you have an Mbappe and just pretend it's like he went elsewhere. Like he went from Madrid to PSG. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, it's like, all right, my best card is in champ now, the only champ. Do I play him or do I sell him? I really like him. I want to follow him there. Okay, I can buy out a champ team there, or you can buy out an in-season team there. Like it gives you the same alternative to do that. So I think that's how I would recommend branching from the start.
And so this next question, I think, is one that kind of addresses the quality versus quantity thing. So Zora's response was like 5K, 2 teams in whatever, in a league or whatever. Would you think you're better off playing one lineup, which again is not 5 cards, but basically, let's call it 8 cards, and trying to get 8 better cards versus 16 not as great cards?
I mean, I think with 5K, you can do quite a bit, honestly. I'm not a full proponent of like stacking at the rare level. I think it's better to play the best guys and like play the best cards and the most logical cards. I mean, with what I would do, it's going to be, what would you do? What's your recommendation with this 5K? Where are you going?
I mean, I would just start in Prem and see how far it got me, because I'm assuming most people like the Prem.
Yeah, but are we doing it from a like?
I think we try to get the best players and see what the budget is.
See, to me, I would start in the Bundesliga. I think it makes way more sense than the Prem. But I mean, if you're going Prem, then that's fine too.
I mean, we can try both.
No, I'm just saying, like I just know what the pricing of cards are in the Bundesliga, and I think it's a lot more palatable for 5K than the Prem. And I think that the rewards are similar. So like if I'm coming in and I'm completely open to whatever I do, I would probably go Bundesliga. You could go La Liga too. The issue with La Liga is it just like kind of sucks outside of like Madrid, and like it's just kind of shitty. So yeah, like for me, I would do Bundesliga with that.
Let's do it. Where do you start?
I mean, I'm starting with goalies and then working my way there. So like I would want Neuer, who's not going to be super expensive probably. I would probably be interested in Nubel. There would be a couple others. Like I'd probably try to get 3 teams. So like I would like you can figure out the other one later. Yep. So like go to defenders. I would probably want like a Bayern defender. I think the most logical right now is Upamecano. I would probably want a middle stat. I would probably want a Raum.
So not pairing them with
Colbert. No, I mean I'm just getting the best guys and then I'll figure it out from there. I mean middle stats with Nubel probably. Like I would not get Hradecki because like then you have to deal. Well, you could buy Hradecki and Kovar and just like know they're going to rotate to some extent. Eesh. I would probably want. Yeah, that's actually a reasonable one. All right, I would get Kobel and Schlotterbeck.
Yeah,
or at least like I would at least consider them because Schlotterbeck's really good.
Yep.
And then I would get. All right, add Kobel. Yeah, Alberico said Kim Min-jae is undervalued. I don't disagree. Like we'll get the big higher hitters, and then we'll go get some more lower guys later. All right, mids. I would get Kimmich, Grosh. I'm trying to think. Stiller. There's probably others that
well, we can.
Forwards, I would look at like Kane, Undav, Marmouche, Kramaric, Xhaka. Xhaka's a good one.
I'm not going to do this. We can just add them.
Grifo's possibly a good one. He put up a big score this weekend, I think.
What's going on here?
Laird's breaking things here.
I am.
Yeah, I would add Grimaldo to the list.
Undav.
Yep. Marmouche, Kramaric. That's probably good at forward. I would add, you got to add Grimaldo to the list. I don't care about
Frimpong?
No. No.
So we're at 4,100 right now. I think these are all probably classic prices, which means we're getting close. But like, that's actually a lot of players. That's way more than I thought already.
I mean, look, these are all like all the best players in the league, effectively. Like, I'm sure we're missing some.
Oh wait, Xhaka, I was missing.
Yeah, Xhaka is a reasonable one to put on there. Like, he's solid. Works.
Yeah, I guess I didn't add Hrdeshky and Kovar.
Did you add Koval?
Yes. Where is he? There he is.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you don't really need. I wouldn't. You're fine. You don't have to add that.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah. So like, you're like the single best lineup in the Bundesliga is probably right now, whichever goalie. Like, I mean, it's a weekly thing for goalie, obviously.
Yeah.
Best defenders Grimaldo. Best mid is probably Grosh. Right now, it's probably Grosh. Best forwards probably Kane, maybe Kramaric. If Kramaric has a good matchup, it's Kramaric. If Kramaric doesn't have a good matchup, then it's probably Kane. Ekatike, he doesn't do it for me. I mean, he's fine. Like, he's just whatever. He's a dude. Like, this is like when we used to talk about Alex Isaac, and then people are like, "Oh yeah, he's really not that great." Like, Ekatike's fine. Like, he's worse than these other guys, probably. Like, he's fine. If he has a good matchup, he's fine. But like, he's on Eintracht. How many Eintracht guys do we name here, Laird? Like one. So I think Marmouche is from
Marmouche, yeah.
But like, Marmouche is like, yeah. So like, here's a good example. Ekatike is literally not even the best forward on his team. Marmouche is better than him. So it's like, I'm not that interested in Ekatike. Yeah, Musiala. We forgot Musiala. Musiala forward card would be a nice card.
Yeah, which you can. I mean, you have to get the
classic. I assume it's probably. Like, I wonder if anyone even sells that, because I don't think there's very many at all.
Not very many Musiala forwards.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how many Musiala forwards there are.
Man, that Kane in-season price. Yeah, we're like, he's like 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, you're gonna have to do your spreadsheet if you want to, Laird.
Yeah, I'm doing it anyway. 800.
Stoger's a good.
I was gonna say, do you want to do it?
No, I'm too tired. Stoger's a good name. Blue Tomatoes just gave Stoger.
So we've got, let's see, Neuer, Nubel.
Yeah, we're not going to do all these guys.
Yeah.
Like, they're not all going to fit.
Toby says we probably could kick Kane because of
and we might. We might very well kick Kane.
Price-wise, surely.
Yeah, price-wise, he's probably not going to fit, and these other guys are good. Like Kramaric, like if Kramaric has good matchups, Kramaric is, and in this sort of setting, Kramaric is more than fine. And Kramaric obviously is going to be much cheaper. Oh, apparently Kramaric sprained his ankle. That's not ideal.
I thought they said after he was going to be okay, but
I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah. All right. Let me get some prices here.
You got to get this set up later so that there's a better in-season version. Ritsu Doan has forward cards, which is fun. Yeah, Doan's okay. He's fine. I don't think he's as good as these other guys, but he's definitely gonna be cheaper.
It feels like a long shot to be in this group.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Stoger was a good name. Blue Tomatoes gave a good name.
I'm guessing. Yeah, let me see here. I'm guessing. I'm going to go through and just assume that these are all old, like classic prices.
Um,
Upamecano is 62 pounds.
I mean, I can look for you. You need to have this sorted out better, Laird. Pounds. The last Upamecano classic was 69 pounds.
Wow.
There was an in-season auction. Someone paid 266 on instant buy, but the day before there was an in-season auction at like 220. Yes, Hugo Ekitike is not on the list, Tyler. We have established that he is probably not good enough.
I'm trying to, let me see. Who else we got? Oh, Kimmich.
The real stars of the show are the defenders, to be honest, with this list. And you're probably going to have to go cheaper with some options because it's probably just going to not be enough once you get to the point where you start looking at everyone. Also, though, like I'm going to say this too, like if we find out that the gap is like what it's like, if the gap is $69 for an Upamecano Classic to $266 for an in-season, at that point I would recommend someone playing Classic. Like if that was the gap on like every player.
That is a crazy gap.
Yeah, like that sort of gap is like kind of absurd.
Right.
Like just being honest. Like,
and it's actually like it is that, like that's crazy.
Yeah. Like that's just like kind of absurd.
What are we doing?
Not super realistic.
Right.
So basically, like I think what you're gonna want to try to do is you're gonna try to buy like, you probably want to get 20 cards is what your goal is with this. And like of those 20 cards, like 15 of them you want like at like $200 a piece. And then the other 5 are like $400, $500 a piece cards, something like that is like probably like what you're like going to be looking at.
Yeah, I think that's reason. I mean, I'm just
so
curious.
Like, for example, just giving an example, because like I said, we're going to have to go cheaper. You can all of a sudden buy a Waldemar Anton card, and his in-season card is going to be a lot cheaper than some of these other guys. Like at auction, one sold the other day for 0.047, which is $85 for like an in-season Waldemar Anton. So you're probably gonna have to have like 5 guys at like under $100, and then you're gonna have like 10 guys at like $200, and then you're gonna have like a couple guys that are more expensive, obviously.
And do the fact that some of these guys are so expensive doesn't make you think that we just condensed to 2 teams?
It possibly could. There's that is a discussion too. Like you could condense to 2 teams with the plans to move to 3 eventually once you have the ability to do so. So like that's definitely an option. But like, so here's the issue, right? If you're doing the Prem, you're kind of at like 1.5 teams. Whereas like the Bundesliga, I think you can comfortably get to 2, maybe even 3 if you want to. So it's just a big stretch.
Yeah. Is there, trying to think if there's anyone, who else from our list here?
Well, I mean, you're going to have to start moving out the more expensive players with like the less expensive players. Like Wirtz is going to get cut for sure. You're going to have to cut guys like that. But like, and like, we're going to want like guys like Raum. Like this is like, those are the type of guys you're going to want. Like Kramaric is a guy you're going to probably want.
Kramaric, yeah.
So it's going to be stuff like that.
Philly Dilly said condensing to 2 teams is really not fun. You really want 3 with backups. Every team less you have, the slower you're accumulating.
I don't disagree with this, and especially with the idea. So like, all right, if you're coming on today, here's another thought too, right? If you are coming on today, you are starting at the bottom. the rewards at the bottom kind of suck, and moving up is kind of easy. So you don't even need like the best cards per se. Like week 1, you can work your way up to it, and like by the end of the month, you're gonna have like, all right, now I have a D1 team. Now I need better players, type of thing.
Man, why is Nooble so cheap?
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's gonna be a card you want, right? Like you're gonna have to spend a couple. Like maybe you're not gonna buy Koval because like Koval, for example, is really expensive. So like I'm already looking to replace Koval off this list because like I don't think Koval makes that much sense based on price points.
Yeah.
Whereas like Nooble makes a lot of sense. Middlestat makes a lot of sense. Like those type of guys make a lot of sense. Like Middlestat's old season rare $40 is kind of ridiculous.
Are we only considering Verts?
I mean, I'm not going to consider words. Like he's just not going to be on the list. No, I mean he's just not going to be on the list. He's going to be too expensive. He's going to be too expensive for what you're getting.
For what you're getting, I agree with that.
So
awesome right now.
Like, all right, so like let's replace. Like we probably can get away with a cheaper goalie because we don't need another super expensive goalie. So let's replace Koval in the bottom lineup or in whatever lineup Koval's in, and let's replace him with like, I don't know, Zetterer.
Yep. Hold on 1 second. Sorry.
Or yeah, like Zetterer, or Drews. Like Drews is fine. He's on Botcham. We know Scosmo likes Botcham. No. Use Drews. Drewes. Yeah, there you go.
Let me take the other one off. Hold on.
Because he's going to be dirt cheap. You don't need super expensive goalies. Scosmo, I'm doing this for you. This is solely for you. Just so you're aware.
So, oh my God.
69 for an in-season card. 65. Like, perfect. Yeah, Drews plays a contender next year. Who gives a shit? I don't care about next year. It's in-season, boys. We care about in-season cards. We can worry about that. We can worry about that. No, Scosmo, it's for you.
How much is Galashi?
I don't know. I wouldn't want any part of him.
Just because of you scared of Vandevort?
Yeah, Vandevort's taking the job at some point. It's just a matter of when. Like he comes down sick, and all of a sudden that he's done.
Let me just throw Stiller in here. Just
that's fine. I mean, that lineup's already like 4/5 Stuttgart.
45-ish, 125.
No, he's less than that.
Less than? I mean, he literally just sold for 120.
I thought that was a non-sell. I was an instant buy. The issue is like instant buys are just flawed because
here 110.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like which is fine. It doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter that much. So like,
we need another one here.
Okay. So this is what we're gonna do, Laird. You're gonna listen here. Go back to your spreadsheet.
Oh, I need one more player though, and
okay, get Shabbat. He's not on your list. Get Shabbat. You're just gonna make a de facto CHABOT.
CHA.
No, CHA. No, CHA, Laird. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you should add Stoger too. That's all.
So he should be here though.
Here, can you send me the link to the spreadsheet?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Just give me the link. Once I get the spreadsheet link, I'll clean it up a little bit for us.
All right.
I guess I should have just done it to begin with, Laird.
I told you to.
I think the issue is just how you do it. I don't think works as well.
What do you mean?
You put them into a lineup to begin with, and I think that's like not the first step. Did you send me it?
Slack is down.
Send it to me on Discord.
Yeah, I got to go open it and everything. I turn it off.
You turn Discord off?
When I do streams like this.
Oh.
Try to be respectful of everyone. Anyway.
Philly asked, how long am I holding Pickford for? I'm fine with Pickford. I'm not super worried about Pickford. He just is what he is. Like, you're going to get some major games from him when they don't concede, and when they do concede, then you're just going to eat shit. No, you're not going to eat shit. It's when they're going to concede 3. Oh, there you go, Laird. Is that exciting or what? This week is number 1 edition week, Laird.
Oh, fun.
The excitement is super high. All right.
I think it's fun.
Okay.
Feel free to.
Yeah. You got to let me edit. You got to give me the editing ability.
I thought I did. Yeah, you should have it.
All right. 1 second. Okay. I wasn't signed in. It's still not letting me edit.
Everything.
Yeah, Hal says not conceding 3 is the first step. It is. The 1 week he was literally on like 85 at the 85th minute, conceded 3 with an error. It was not great.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Philly says I'm worried about them staying up. I don't care if they stay up or not. If they go down, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Everton?
Yeah. What are you doing now?
I was just trying to. All of this is text.
Oh, okay. Can I
get it out? But if you want to take over, that's fine.
Well, yeah, I want the ability to edit, which I don't have.
You should.
No. I have the ability to open it. I don't have the ability to edit it.
That's silly. I have no ability to change it otherwise. It says everybody can edit it.
It says view only, Laird. Guys, we are in boomer mode here. Andrew Laird is just like boomering our faces off right now.
I had a whole spreadsheet done.
You didn't at all.
There's our spreadsheet.
As soon as that link, all right, go to share. Go to the share. Okay.
Anyone with the link, editor.
All right, let me try to refresh it.
Nice try.
No, I mean, I don't have access to it. I don't have the ability to edit.
That's what you come in for, Graham. You're right.
Yeah, I don't have the ability to edit it, so I do not know what I'm supposed to do.
What were you trying to do?
Literally fix the entire thing. So that.
But like, what were you fixing?
You put stuff in the lineup and then you just hamstring it, and it just doesn't work.
No, I was just doing it to make sure we had 3 lineups.
But like it just hamstrings the whole thing because you should put them off to the side and then drag them over to the lineup once it's done.
I mean, I can just literally.
I know. Can you? All right.
Here you go. Here's your list.
Can you go to the thing again? Can you go to the share button and like see if it works? Are you sure Slack's down? Because I'm on Slack.
Mine wasn't working. But I'll send you another link.
Okay, let me try another link. Let's see if this works.
Looks like somebody else is in too.
All right, we're good. Okay. All right.
Who's the anonymous wombat?
Where did the lineups go now?
You just told me to take them out.
I didn't say delete it, Laird. Okay, yeah.
I didn't.
Okay. There you go. Leave it like that. Okay.
I'm getting this PSU2 Google Sheets lesson here.
Yeah, and I suck at Google Sheets. I wish
Google Sheets sucks. That's why.
I wish FMT would work at this. All right, so like I said, this can be our bottom one. So we have.
This is totally right.
I mean, Laird is a struggle bus. Like watching this has been. I definitely I didn't want to have to handle sheets and stuff, but like I felt the need to take over.
Yeah, it's almost like I didn't want to do it and found a way for you to just do it.
Yeah, and you just sandbagged me on this whole thing. What the fuck is this not working? Oh, it's because you have it in fucking euros. God damn it, Laird.
Pounds. That's what I was trying to fix when you decided to take over.
Yeah, but like you don't put it in the actual thing. You change the formula. Okay, we're just gonna do it in dollars because I don't have.
Nobody's looking at it anyway.
What?
Nobody's looking at it. I don't have it on the screen anyway.
Oh, well, why did you take it off the screen if that's the whole point of it?
I think the point was showing what we got, not how to build a spreadsheet.
Gotcha. So, anyways, like, yeah, I'm just gonna do. So you're gonna have like your second lamps, like your. I don't think your lamps are gonna be terrible per se.
I agree. How
It's
about this question from Midiozo, which I have a response to that I'm thinking you're going to say the exact same thing. But he said, when a proper strategy topic, how to do lineups, 2 teams stack lineups, when 2 mids, when 2 forwards, how to play against 15% bonus players, etc.
I mean, here's the thing. I've offered to do a lineup building stream with you, and you literally refuse because you're like, I don't want to fucking be there.
This is absolutely true. I
Yeah.
have no interest in watching you make lineups for 4 hours. I don't like watching anybody make lineups. Apologies to all the content creators who do them, but I could not care less.
So I've offered to give the people what they want, Laird, and you are the denier of what people want.
There are lots of content creators out there, Sean, that I'm sure would host you to make your lineups.
Yeah, where's Harry Trades at? Harry's probably going to be in my DMs like immediately asking me to do this.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, the issue is that not at this time of the year. This time of the year is not going to do it.
Now we have excuses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing it this time of the year, but a different.
Ryan, this is a good idea. You and I doing a lineup stream, but it's just you in an empty chair.
I would.
Empty chair.
Okay. This is your euros. All right, you can go back to the spreadsheet now.
I'm glad this looks way different than the one that I put together.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier, and it was easier for me to rearrange. So you have your Stuttgart stack. You have a little bit of a mixture in the middle. Then you have a Bayern stack with Grimaldo. All of this costs only 4,500 euros. This number's are euros, not.
No, they're pounds. They're pounds.
Yeah, they're pounds. Whatever. I don't. Who even knows what the difference is as an American, right, Laird?
I just know that the pounds are bigger.
Okay, this makes sense. So, anyways, so if you have other guys, so like, where's the rest of our list? You don't have the rest of the list.
I didn't put that. I only have 15 on it, and we have
you only have
4 other players that are on this list.
Yeah, no, you don't have Raum, you don't have Stoger. You're just like
Raum. I think we do have Stoger.
You don't have Stoger. Yeah, you don't have
Stoger. Raum, Stoger.
You don't have
Marmouche, and
Raum, Stoger. Oh, you don't have them, Zeta or whatever. So, like, all right. So, how much is Raum's in season and classic?
Let's see. Raum is, good Lord, 2. You guys are crazy.
250?
250 and 67.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. All right, what's Stoger? Oh, Dux makes sense too. So Dux was going was heavily rumored to like Saudi though.
Somewhere terrible, right? Yeah.
Did I win a Dux? I might have won a Dux.
Anyway, Stoger Classic is 77.
Okay.
And 187 for in season.
Okay. And Marmouche is probably not that expensive. Did I win a Dutch? No, I didn't win a Dutch. I must have saw a Dutch. Someone else must have won one.
89 classic.
Okay.
145 new.
All right. Yeah, so like that's a good card. So like if you do these,
that gets
you like right around $5,000. Like obviously, so like if I was doing this, like you'd probably pick out a couple cards that you're just buying the like classic version of. Like I think you could buy like a Schlotterbeck classic, a Kane classic, a Grimaldo classic, or like a Kimmich classic. That saves like $1,000 right off the top from what we even have. So like I think you can make the teams pretty easily for this value. Like you see here, so it would basically be. This would be like just around $5,100, but like once you buy the classic versions of those guys, like you're saving around like $600. So it's probably around $4,500 for this.
I don't think. Wait, because you can only buy 3 classics. Like you're not going to buy.
No, yeah, I'd buy like 3 classics. I said I'd buy like a Kane classic, a Schlotterbeck classic, a Kimmich classic, and that would effectively save you like $700. So you could probably get a squad of around 20 cards with all of the best cards in the division if you wanted to. Like, so example, so like we save $600, okay? You could, instead of having this be Drew's with these guys, like maybe you turn this into a Dortmund stack and Drew's turns into Kobel.
I was saying, how much is Kobel?
What?
How much was Kobold again?
Not that much.
Yeah, like why are we even playing? Like, why are we even wasting our time with
I'm not. I'm saying you could if you wanted to. I'm not saying I would go get Kobo. I'm saying if you wanted to and you want to make a Bayern or Dortmund stack, you effectively could. Or you buy a classic Kobo. Like instead, you make him the classic card if you needed to.
Yeah. What was it again?
So like
50 and 430.
Yeah, so like if you want to buy him, go for it. If you don't want to buy him, no big deal.
Yeah.
So like you just have to decide like who are the people you want to buy. Like I don't think there's tons of guys that are missing off this list that you realistically would want. I think like there's like a couple guys that you can make cases for. I think that Amiri makes sense. People were talking about Amiri. I think you could buy some cheaper defenders for like $50 a piece. Like you could get this squad up to around like 20 cards. Like maybe I'd buy another goalie, but it doesn't have to be Kobo. Like maybe all of a sudden you're buying Zetterer, and instead of it being Zetterer, like that costs like $100-200. So like there is ways. I think you can build out an entire 3-team classic Bundesliga squad for around 5,000 pounds. Sorry, pounds. And then going down. So Blue Tomato said Wirtz and Musiala are the only major pieces missing. So how much are Wirtz and Musiala? Because like maybe you buy a Wirtz and Musiala. I just don't think they are needed per se. So like Wirtz. Well, I'll let you tell me.
Sorry, Musiala. I had Musiala first. Yeah. Musiala is 350 classic.
Okay.
And 630 Inseason.
Okay. And then Wirtz.
Are these guys worth getting as midfielders?
Yeah, I mean they're still really good. It's just like I don't think they're necessary. Maybe, but maybe one of them is not a bad thing.
Classic Wirtz is 420.
Okay.
And Inseason 650.
Okay.
Oh, actually, hold on. You can probably go cheaper than that for classic. Yeah, 400. Let's call it.
Okay. So like, basically, with all of this stuff that we had, it is 7,000 for all new season cards. If you're buying 3 classics, you're going to knock at least like 700 off that. So it's 6,300. So basically with every name we have on here, we need to get rid of 2 people. So let's get rid of Koval. So he's gone. So now my total net amount is down to 6,300. Again, I'm knocking off like 700 or so from buying a couple classics. And you're looking at like 5,700 or give or take 5,700. So effectively from there, you basically have to give away like one of the Wirtz, Musiala, Kanes of the world. I think I would probably get rid of one of Wirtz or Kane, either or. Like, I don't think it matters. So like, let's just pretend we get rid of Kane.
I was gonna say Kane feels like the easiest. Like it feels like there's so many good forwards.
There's enough. And then you throw Marmouche in there, and all of a sudden everything combined costs 5,600, but you're going to knock off 700 or so when you buy a few classic cards. So like if you buy Schlotterbeck Classic, Kimmich Classic, Upamecano, just using that's $600 gone. So like you're under the number you're looking to do. And obviously you have 19 cards. You're very strong. You have what you want. You have probably 2 great lineups every weekend, one lineup that is sort of the leftovers each weekend. It makes a lot of sense.
So there are 2 questions here, or one question, one statement. I'm going to go to Oreos first. It says the thing with in-season is you have to outperform the loss when they turn to classic, which isn't guaranteed. I think you're underestimating how long you have to make up that loss. Like you don't get classic for only 1 year.
Yeah. So here's the thing too. So all right. So like here, we'll use that as an example. Well, that's a good question. So here's basically, because that's the equivalent of like what you have to do. All right. If we buy all of these cards that are currently listed on the screen, it costs us $5,500. If we bought them all in classic today, so effectively, let's just pretend we could sold them all at that price, we get $2,500 back. So I need to make $3,000 over the course of this season and eternity from these cards to pay it off. I find it very hard to picture right now that this grouping of cards won't pay me off more than $3,000 this season. Is my takeaway, right? And this is why we've sort of said, and we've discussed like whether or not Bithorse asked about Openda. Openda is totally mediocre. Like he is the epitome of like he scores a goal and gets you like 65, or he doesn't and gets you like 35 or 40. Like I don't want Openda really at his price point. I think his price point is not great. I just don't really think he's a great card, honestly.
330 for floor.
Yeah, so I'm paying 330 for a card worse than Marmouche.
How is he that much more than?
Well, that's the problem. Like if we look at Openda, because someone brought him up earlier, right? If you put Openda, Marmouche, Kramaric, and Undav in a pot, he's worse than all of them. I don't think it's close. I think he's worse than all of them by a reasonable margin, like a couple points.
I won't argue that.
He's double the price of all three of them that he's worse than. Like it just doesn't make sense. The same thing with Ekatike. Like Ekatike is worse than all three of those guys. He's double plus the price. It's the same thought process with that. Blue Tomato said SO5 wise. Literally the only wise I care about, sir, is SO5 wise. So
the other one though was kind of in line here and says, does 6 classic lineups out ROI the 3 in-season lineups, assuming that you play 3 in Bundesliga and 3 in Champ?
I don't think so. I think in season would outperform it. Again, I wish we had the ability to like do that as a trial experience and like see how that did, but we don't realistically.
I think the big difference is, I mean, I guess you're getting 3 more opportunities next year or this year. So like you'll get 6 lineups instead of 3, but like next season, like you still like those are, you're now competing against those in-season cards that now become classics anyway.
Correct. And like, so here's the thing too, is like, I want to say, like, I really think, and we've talked about this. This is something we've talked about on previous shows. You have to completely forget about what money you previously have put in for this to work. And that's not what a lot of people want to do. And I totally understand that. But like, if you had $5,000 and you put $5,000 in and did what we just said here, I find it very difficult to think that you will not pay that off over the course of one season and then have those cards to play with in the future. It is my personal opinion. Like, I think it's going to be difficult for you not to recoup this amount of money over the course of a season. What do you think, Laird?
Like, I think the players are like, if you're going to try it, these are the players to try it with.
Correct.
But I don't know if you'd be able to make, you're considering basically the $3,000 difference.
Do you think you would make $3,000 this season with this?
Yeah.
With this. So like, let me go, because I don't think you know exactly what the prize pools and stuff are. So let's go look and see what the prize pool is really quick. I don't know what it is, so I gotta look up, and I didn't play it, so I don't have so winning D1 is 1.1 ETH right now.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I gotta look it up. So it's probably like $2,500 or $2,600. It's actually probably $2,700. That's probably the point. So it's probably like $2,700. So winning one time in in-season D1 is $2,700 with the best cards. I find it hard to believe you're not going to scrape $50 here, $100 here, $200 here, $50 here, $1,000 here. Like,
I was gonna say, can you do it though without winning?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like, so this same person who I just have up right now is in 22nd. Oh, this is contender. Bundesliga, all right, this guy that I have up, he's in 35th place in Bundesliga in-season Division 3. And he is getting back 0.017 ETH, which is like
$25.
No, it's like 35, I think.
Okay.
But so here's the thing. He's like literally finishing 35th in season D3. this is very reasonable that like you're gonna produce $100 to $200 back every week with this, and then you're gonna hit a big score every now and then.
Here, I got one here. 9th in D3 is 45 pounds.
Okay, so 9th in D3 is 45 pounds. So like that's
It feels like a long way.
Yeah, I don't even think you have to win once. I think you just like by default are gonna get $3,000 back. You don't need to win once. You need to get like 20th in Division 3 every weekend to pay it off.
20.
But like that's all you need. You get to run this effectively 34 times, and you need to get like, let's call it 30 times just because it's easier. Yeah, so this is a caveat to the discussion Blue Tomatoes brings up. Don't forget you have to start in D4, D5.
Yeah, 4.
So
No
for
D5
like
in there.
this year, it's going to be a little bit more tricky because obviously you're a lot lower. In future years, you're in a lot better situation where you don't have to worry about that as much.
This year?
No, I'm saying like in the future, you're not going to be starting in D4s with all your lineups. So like they're going to start like at the beginning of this year, you're going to make a lot less than like in the future. So it might take you like 5 weeks that is sort of just like the opportunity cost or like sort of the sunk cost that you have to use to get up to a level where you're like, oh, I'm in D1 and D2 with all of my lineups and I get to run them every week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit different this year compared to like if I started playing Bundesliga right now, I would be in D1, D2, D4, I think, because I was in like I would have a D1 lineup. So like it would be different for me than like Stuart coming fresh onto the platform. Yes, he's going to start out playing in the lower levels, and it will take him a couple weeks to ascend to a little bit higher level.
Hyla said you speak about coming top 20 like it's a given, even if you have the best cards.
If I have the best cards, I'm going to come top 20 every so often with 3 lineups. Like, it's just true. Like, I'm like, if you're not coming top 20 every so often with 3 in-season lineups with the best cards, you're doing something wrong. In D4.
Is there any thought to, because you have kind of like a Bayern stack and Stuttgart stacks, not full like 5-player, and no, we don't have a Dortmund one there. A little bit of Dortmund, of going down to 2 lineups and spending the other money on collection pieces to get them higher XP?
I mean, you can if you want to, but I don't care about collection as much, as you know.
So I'm saying, like you don't think that the added 3 or 4%, possibly 5% on like a Kimmich, Upamecano, Neuer, Gross, Schlotterbeck matters enough?
I mean, it matters, but I think
I'm just saying you wouldn't sacrifice the third lineup for those.
I think you get more out of a third lineup than you would
fair.
out of that. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But that would be my guess.
I don't think I did.
Blue Tomatoes asked, how confident would I be about getting it in limited? Not very. I wouldn't be very confident about doing anything in limited.
We're not really missing many of the best cards though. That in limit, I mean, in limited, you'd probably have to do the collections, but
yeah, limited you do the collections, but like, I mean, I just limited is also a lot harder. Like, how many people are even in season Bundesliga rare right now? Like, how many people are in season Bundesliga rare D1? Let me see.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because like these cards, like once you have these cards, like you're going to consistently be in season D1 and 2. Like that's where you're going to be. Like
once you get to D1, you'll never go back to D3 with these cards.
No, you might. You'll like sporadically have a bad week where you're in D3, but like it's not going to be frequent. It's going to be like once a season you just randomly have a line in D3, but it just so happens that's just how it's going to be. Like it won't be often.
No,
there are 58 people in Division 1 Bundesliga. 58.
And we think it's double in D2, or is it triple?
I don't know. But 58 in Bundesliga D1, it pays 35. You tell me, like
you just got to get there.
But like I'm saying, like if you're there, like once you're there, like hypothetically you're there, and let's say it doubles in size to 100 people, you're gonna get top 20 every so often. Like you're just gonna get it. like literally 20th place is 0.066 ETH, which right now that's I'm assuming that's like 066. That's $150. You need to literally get that once every 2 weekends to get your $3,000 back. So like you literally need to get a top 20 once in D1 every 2 weekends to get your money back. You need to just get into the money one time, like every two out of 3 weekends. You just need to like get a lot. And this doesn't even include essence. I'm not even including essence, and your essence matters. Like your essence is going to be pretty good. You're going to churn essence at a pretty reasonable rate with this.
Mm-hmm. Or like market credits or
market credits, all of this stuff. Blue Tomatoes asked, why do you think the Bundesliga rare is overlooked? So I think that the Prem is obviously the most marquee, which is obviously why people go to it. But the amount of money given to Bundesliga and La Liga isn't like that drastically different that I think it's worth that gap. But because people love the Prem, they want to play the Prem.
Like the price premium on Prem cards is much bigger than the reward premium for Prem. Like you're not winning so much more in Prem, but you definitely are paying much more.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't like the best player. I think the best player in the Bundesliga is probably Pascal Gross right now. It doesn't show, but like watching their games, I think there's a reasonable shot he's their best player. He costs what, $200? The best player in the Prem is like $1,500. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Grimaldo's probably the best. That's fair. So the best player in the Bundesliga right now to buy his in-season card is going to cost me like $400, $500. $500, $600. Like the best player in the Prem is going to cost me like $1,500. But the price gap between like if I win isn't as drastic. Right. Like it's not that big of a drop off.
So I was looking at the player rankings page and I just sorted it by highest rare value, which I think is probably classic price anyway, but assuming the ratio is fairly similar, there's not a single Bundesliga player in the top 10.
Oreo said no shot Gross is better than Grimaldo Wirtz. He's definitely better than Wirtz. He's a better player. He's a better card than Wirtz right now in terms of like pure like getting points from him. I would rather have Gross. He's not better than Grimaldo. I overlooked Grimaldo. I think Grimaldo is the best player in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, like the most expensive Bundesliga guys are like it's Kobel, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Kane, Elise, Wirtz. Like there's just not that many of them.
Correct.
In the top 25, and there are way more La Liga players, and it's the same prize pool.
Correct. So like yeah, it's another great example. Like the pricing in the Bundesliga to be competitive is way less than La Liga, and the prize pool is the same. Mm-hmm. Like I think the Bundesliga is definitely where I would go if I'm coming in doing something like this without having like, oh, I have to be in the Prem type of like notions type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not underestimating Wirtz at all. I think Wirtz is totally fine. No, not hating on Wirtz at all. He's just
totally fine.
I think Gross is going to be a really good card. So yeah, again, nothing wrong with Wirtz at all. I think there's a reasonable shot Gross is like this type of player.
I'm guessing he also rotates less.
Gross, yeah, probably. They really don't have anything.
I just mean like Leverkusen they're deep, and so
Leverkusen's deep. They're going to rotate. They have a lot going on. Whereas like I just don't know if that really happens as much with Dortmund. That said, obviously, like if you're giving me one of the two cards to pick, I'm taking Wirtz. Wirtz is worth a lot more, and he's a lot younger. Gross is old, but like I think from an in-season perspective, purely from like getting rewards back this season, I would rather have Gross over Wirtz. But I think he's a better card.
Pablo said Bundesliga is the league you want to play in season for sure.
I tend to agree. I think it's if you were coming in, but like again, like this goes back to like the spend more money thing. Like I really think that if you did have 5,000 disposable and you did this plan, you're gonna have success. Like I'm just being honest. Like I think that there's a pretty high probability that this is successful right now. So
Ryan wants to know how much scouting is done watching games as opposed to looking at Sorare data scores.
some of each. Like I've watched the role Gross in, so like a lot of that is from me watching the couple games, and like his roles are really good. It's a very similar setup to what they ran at Brighton, except for Dortmund is a much better team than Brighton. But like Gross is taking like all the sets. He's literally the one game he had like 150 passes. It's just a really favorable role.
Yeah.
Wirtz's role is more dependent on him getting multiple decisives to get up to a higher level. Whereas like Gross, I think if you get like a decisive, you're going to grip pretty close to 100 a good chunk of the time.
Is there anyone? I guess Brandt is the only one who like could take sets.
Yeah, I mean Brandt could take sets, but like so far, at least I didn't watch this weekend, so I don't know what happened this weekend. But like the previous game was Gross. I don't know who's going to take penalties, but Brandt can take sets too. But like even if Brandt take like if Gross remains,
here's your Dortmund set pieces this season, by the way.
Yeah,
literally everyone has taken. I think this Emery Chen one was a penalty too.
Yeah, and like so like this weekend they played Heidenheim. He actually sucked ass, but the game against Bremen, he had 85 passes. The game against Frankfurt, he had 101 passes. Like if you're gonna just and like of those, like 30 of them are in the final third. That's 9 points. Like if you're just sitting edge of the box, like it's just a really good card. I'm really bullish on Gross this season. I think the role is really good for him.
Yeah,
they don't really have a replacement, so like I don't really see how he sits much. And it's like very clear to me like they've set their entire attack up on like him doing what he did.
Doing what he wants to do.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was a good question, Ryan. Like a lot of stuff comes from what like I can watch games and like I can be like, yeah, that's going to translate to good SO5 scores. Or like I can watch games and be like, that's going to translate to good SO5 scores occasionally, but sometimes it's going to suck ass. But like so like fullbacks, like I can watch some fullbacks and be like, yeah, you're going to score really well sometimes because of how you play. So yeah, so a good amount of it does come from watching, but also like sort of understanding the player types too. Yeah, I mean,
I'm guessing the lower ones were before his move.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was way less appealing when he was because I think this. Well, he also had links to Marseille, which like so Marseille, the person in his role in Marseille is Højbjerg, and Højbjerg's smashing. Have you seen Højbjerg start the season? Like just smashing. So yeah, Round's a good example. Like, you can watch Round and you're like, yeah, some of the time, like Round's so shit defensively that he's gonna get blown by so many times, and you're like, damn, this blows. But then like sometimes you're like, he's gonna get some tackles occasionally. When he does, and when he like is connecting on the set pieces, like it's just a print fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Højbjerg, like I bought a super of Højbjerg. I was pretty confident he was just gonna wreck. And he's wrecking.
Was that in your Vinny Jr. trade? Yeah.
It was. But like, I mean, one, his role with Denmark's great. He does really well with Denmark, which was part of the thoughts is like, oh, I get a great card for international utility. But Pablo said Girassi is the striker he wants. It's definitely possible. He could be really good. He was injured when I went through my Bundesliga stuff. And also he's like new on Dortmund, so it's definitely not as clean as these other guys that we've listed.
I love that Højbjerg has a 69 average with 0 decisives.
Yeah, just smash it. Like, I mean, you can't ask for a better card now. Like, look at the passes. Look at the passes. It's just like it's just a print fest. 80 passes for a guy that does a lot of defensive work. 136. Like
83.
It's just hard for a guy like this to do badly.
87.
Like
yeah.
you're getting 60, and then it's just whether or not he gets a decisive and gets you up in the 90s. That's literally all it is. I mean, that's a team you want to, if you want to buy a team, like buy low on a team or something, like that's the team you buy because their style is just so favorable. But like as you see, like he's in the role Gross was in at Brighton, which was already a smash role. The difference is he's a much better defensive work rate guy than what Gross was, but you sacrifice the offensive rate because he doesn't have that. Yeah, so Rabiot has agreed to sign there. So like there's a good shot. Rabiot is pretty good there too. I think they would play next to each other. I don't think he would get benched for Rabiot.
It's crazy he only has one attempted assist too. It's actually really
Literally he's averaging 70 a game. But like the thing is when you're making 130 passes, you're gonna start getting attempted assists, right? Like when how many of them were in the final third, Laird? Do we have that?
Yeah, 65 passes in the final third.
When you're making 65, when you're averaging over 15 final third passes a game, those are going to turn into attempted assists at times and assists.
Should be good.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a good spot. Bithorse said, what's your best 7 from your list? I'm not sure why we
list that we just came up with. Can you pull the list back up?
Yeah.
I mean, do I have to include goalie? I'm gonna assume he wants like a 7-player like group.
Yeah.
So best 7 would probably be Neuer. I think he's the best scoring goalie of the group. Best defender is for sure Grimaldo. Best mid is Gross. Best forward is Kramaric. So that's 4. Then I would probably say like Kimmich, Musiala or Wirtz, and Middlestat, something like that.
What's the case for spending 3x more for Kimmich versus Xhaka?
Kimmich's a lot better with the sets. But if Elise plays, he's been taking sets, so it's I don't know. Kimmich's also every
Otherwise, they don't look
in the midfield. Kimmich is a much better player than if Kimmich's at fullback. The issue is every fullback is dead right now for them. Every right back's dead, so I think Kimmich's going to be playing right back because they just don't really have tons of options. Stoger could also be an option too. Stoger scores pretty well. The issue with Stoger is he's on Mönchengladbach, and they're just a way worse team, so you're going to get way less good results. I think Xhaka struggles at rare level to get to the super high end a lot. Not that he can't. The Schlotterbeck's another name that I think is reasonable. I think you could get Schlotterbeck just of like that 7. Like I think that's reasonable.
I mean, this seems pretty bad to me.
It's when he's at fullback. He's just really not good when he's at fullback. And he needs sets, which like there's knocks on Kimmich. There's definite knocks on Kimmich. He has to be playing at center at DM. Like as you see, like those shit games are at fullback.
Yep.
Like when he's in the midfield, he's just a lot better. But he needs sets. Like if he doesn't have sets, it's a lot more concerning. And with Elise there, like it's been more concerning.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Schlotterbeck could be the answer. Schlotterbeck scores really well.
It's just a bummer that Kobel's so expensive.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't buy Kobel in that scenario.
Oreo said Schlotterbeck would probably be good to farm the lower rewards because he scores 60 plus every game week.
He has upside too, though. Schlotterbeck has a lot of times where he just rips off like something ridiculous and smacks. Like he gets up to the upper end a reasonable amount of the time.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, like for center back, like that's reasonable.
Andre is here. Somebody please explain to me how to burn the next 5K.
You got to watch the show.
Just got to go back and watch.
Go back and restart it. We'll give you a great path.
In fairness, Sean, at one point we were well below 5,000.
We were. Investor Dur said Kramrich is really the best forward. Yeah, I don't think it's close. I think he's clearly the best forward in the Bundesliga. In non-terrible matchups, which is a little bit more difficult for him. But I think if you want like the most, like, okay, I'm just gonna like play Harry Kane, like you can just play Harry Kane. Mitsioso said, I must start my own show to aim how to teach to win more and not how to spend more. They kind of coincide a lot of the time. Sometimes spending more is the path to winning more.
I was going to say, I feel like maybe they're new here.
Yeah. So sometimes it just coincides together.
Right. So where do we get this spare $5,000?
Laird is rich. He can give you $5,000.
Just give it away.
Yeah, Investor said Kimmich seems overrated right now. It's definitely possible. I mean, with all the fullbacks hurt,
the fullback stuff is such a wild card with it. Like, you really don't want that card.
With Elise and the fullbacks, it's a difficult spot.
A Kimmich defender card would be fine.
Yeah, that would much more appreciate that card.
I wonder how he scores. Let's do some ridiculous.
I don't think it's that drastic, honestly. I think I looked at this once. Yeah. Like, he's definitely better, but it's not drastic.
It's like 4 100s in 26 games.
What?
There's 4 100s in 26 games.
It's a really good card if it was a defender card.
Actually, if we take...
Charizgard asked, how are the views on Ekatike and Marmouche stack? I don't really want anything to do with Ekatike. I think he's not as good as other guys I can play. Marmouche is the one I would own. So I just wouldn't do a stack of them. I would just own Marmouche and then I would get other pieces in. But I mean, if you're doing it, it's fine too. Like, you're just hoping that Eintracht just plows goals in on a given week.
Right. Which they have to if Ekatike is going to be that good.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought the worst part, it looked like Marmouche was going to be out this week. So I literally have an in-season super. I just didn't even play it because it seemed like he was going to be out. And then he ripped.
Was there a transfer thing with him too?
Yes, but it wasn't to Saudi. It was to the Prem.
I don't even remember where, but
yeah, I think it was a lower level Prem team.
Fun.
Yeah. But he came out and was I'm not going there. I'm staying here. I want to be at Eintracht, which I don't know. I take all of that shit with a grain of salt, right?
I'm pretty sure I won a Marmouche rare way back in the day.
Well, you would still have it if that's the case.
Definitely didn't keep it. No way. I think it was a honeycomb. That's how far back it was.
Oh, nice.
Now I'm going to have to find it, Sean.
I'm surprised you sold it.
I sell almost all of my rewards.
Aren't you there to wait for it to go to 0 before you sell it?
That's a fair accusation.
Yeah, Investor Dur said, I'm regretting already investing $7,000 in La Liga. Here's the thing with La Liga for me, you pretty much have to buy the guys that are super expensive and are the Madrid guys, but also La Liga is boring as shit to me. It's so dull. They just don't do tons offensively. I'd much rather the Bundesliga where it's just a lot better offensively, to me at least. It's a better visual product to me is watching Bundesliga than watching La Liga. Or you buy Mbappe and then everybody just has them. The thing with the Bundesliga is we've given 5 different paths that you can sort of go down in the Bundesliga that are all pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're La Liga, it's all right, go buy the guys on Madrid that make sense.
With your one-off weeks of Barca.
Yeah. Or then go buy Yamal or something who's incredibly overpriced because of U23. Actually, he's not overpriced.
I don't think he's overpriced, but he's expensive.
Yeah, he's expensive. He's just really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a more accurate breakdown, I believe.
Investor Dur said I bought Yamal over Mbappe at least, which I think is the
I think that's a good move. I think so. Hot take. I think Mbappe might be the worst forward you could own on that team right now, from pure return perspective.
I don't think it's even close, Sean.
Yeah, like I think well, you know what though? I guess that maybe isn't fully accurate because Rodrigo is like the one that's rotating out quite a bit right now. So like I don't know what the rotational situation is going to be there longer term over the course of the year, but that is definitely noticeable as of now. Like I think he's not started the last 2 league games. This one though is purely because of Champs League in the midweek. No, he did.
Yeah.
2 of the last 3 La Liga games, Rodrigo has not started.
Yep.
Which is, now that said, he came in early this game. I thought Brahim Diaz was out for a while, but then I saw he was only going to be out for like. Then I saw he was in the squad for this week. Yeah, I was like, I thought he was supposed to be out for a while.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I don't care enough to go look. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. I'm going to end it there. I think the advice that we gave today is very dependent on how much Stuart wants to get into. Brahim definitely out, everybody's saying. But anyway, how much he wants to get into the Bundesliga, if like that's not his preference or preferred league, excuse me. And so it kind of all depends on where you want to play. And obviously all the prices are going to be different depending on what kind of cards you need. Hopefully we at least showed you one way to do it and what we think is actually probably the easiest way to recoup the money in terms of looking at the single league competitions, which can feed into Champion and probably has the most competitive players that you can have. So thank you everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny who showed up like 5 minutes ago. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with Harry Trades. And yeah, good luck with all your lineups.